Hey guys, okay, today we are going to talk about a super important topic. Hopefully you have read the Wilhoit piece. If you have not, stop the lecture right now and go and read it. That's one of the sort of huge advantages of being in an online classroom. You can stop and go read and then come back to the lecture. So if you have not read the Wilhoit piece, it's super short but really important. Please stop me right here and go read it. Okay, hopefully all of you that are left have read the Wilhoit. Today we're going to talk about claims, grounds, and warrants. And all of this rests on a paraphrase of Wilhoit, of Stephen Toulmin, from the Wilhoit book. It says, every argument involves an assertion, the claim, that is supported by evidence, the grounds, and that rests upon a particular set of assumptions or line of reasoning, the warrant. These three aspects of an argument, claims, grounds, warrants, super important for all of your essay grades. In every essay you write in this class, and really in every essay you write that's argumentative. Okay, even if a professor doesn't use these terms, these are the elements of argument. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about are claims. This is where everything starts. And a claim is an assertion you want your readers to accept. Okay, so your thesis is the overall claim of your essay. Thesis is where this whole thing gets started, and that's why we start with working thesis statements. So you have this place to start, because once you have your thesis, you can start your essay. So your thesis is the overall claim of your essay. It's the argument you want your readers to accept. And that should come, of course, at the end of your intro paragraph. Each of your body paragraphs should begin with a claim that supports part of your thesis statement. I cannot stress this enough. The first sentence of each body paragraph should be a claim, so it should be an argument. It should relate to your thesis statement. So many times I read student essays and I'm not sure what's happening in the paragraph. The first sentence isn't really clear, and then there's some evidence, and then we get down a ways into the paragraph and I find this awesome argument, and I'm like, oh, that's what this paragraph is trying to do. That's what this paragraph is about. That sentence needs to go to the top of that paragraph, okay? So make sure as you're crafting these paragraphs, that first sentence is argumentative. That first sentence tells your readers, this is what the paragraph is about. This is what I'm going to try to convince you of. Okay? And that topic sentence should also relate to your thesis. Your thesis is your sort of big claim that you're going to use the whole paper to support. And then those individual paragraphs have that topic sentence that relates to the thesis. That's a little part of that thesis statement that you're going to prove really, really well in that paragraph. Okay? So thesis, big overall claim. Topic sentence, smaller claim that supports the thesis, found at the beginning of every body paragraph. Good claims are clear. They employ specific, unambiguous language. They tell the reader, this is what I'm going to show you in this paragraph. This is the argument that I'm going to try to prove in this paragraph. Okay? Good claims are also limited. They avoid sweeping generalizations. You don't have much space in this essay. 3 to 4 pages, not a lot of time. So make sure that you pick your topic carefully and that you can cover it in that short of an essay. Okay? So think about what can you cover in 3 to 4 pages, but also think about then for your topic sentences, what can you really cover in a paragraph? What point can you prove in a paragraph? Make sure that you keep focused on that particular point in that paragraph. 1 point per paragraph, prove it really, really well. Okay? So your claim is an assertion you want your readers to accept. Thesis statements, your major claim. Each topic sentence at the beginning of each body paragraph are your supporting claims. Okay? Now we move on to grounds. Grounds are the pieces of evidence for a claim. Okay? So grounds could include examples, illustrations, expert testimony, witness testimony, statistics, experimental findings, personal experience, etc., etc. You'll use all those different types of grounds in different types of papers. Now, for our purposes, for this paper, you will be working with examples from the text. You're not supposed to do outside research for this paper. We will get to that in our other papers. So you want to stick with just the source text. So all of your grounds are going to be direct quotes from the source text. Now, this is sort of helpful because you don't have to worry about, is this an appropriate text to use? Is this relevant? That sort of thing, because your texts have been chosen for you. So what you want to make sure is that you get good grounds that support your point. So if your thesis, your topic sentence is your claim that you're supporting in that paragraph, your grounds are the evidence. Okay? So if you're talking about a particular character trait, your grounds are examples of that character trait. Okay? One really important thing to remember with the grounds, actually it's two things. Two really important things to remember about your grounds. They need to be correctly integrated into your own sentences. Don't just drop quotes into a paragraph, okay? You need to have some sort of introductory phrase of your own that sort of prepares the reader for that particular piece of evidence, okay? And actually, as I'm thinking about this, I will put up a handout that helps you with that. This sort of helps with integrating quotations, okay? So if you need help with that, check this week's learning module, and there will be a handout for that. They also need to be correctly cited. Please make sure that all of your quotations are correctly cited. You just need the author's last name and page number. Super easy at the end of that, at the end of the sentence that the quote is in, okay? That will also be covered in the handout that I'm going to put up for you guys, okay? So grounds are your evidence. Here's the claim I'm making. Here's the argument I want you to accept, and here's all the evidence for that claim, okay? Now the warrants come next, and the warrants link your grounds to your claim. This is really the most important part of the paragraph. This is the longest part of the paragraph. And it's sometimes the part that students don't worry about as much as they should, okay? The warrants might be a line of reasoning, a set of assumptions, or an explanation of how, in your view, your grounds support your claim, okay? So you've given your readers your argument. Here's what I'm going to argue. You've given them your evidence. Here's the evidence for this argument. But what you need to do now is explain how that evidence supports your argument. Okay? Do not leave it up to the readers to figure out how these quotes are going to support your argument. It's your job as the author to explain, here's how this evidence supports this argument. Okay? So good warrants are fully developed. They thoroughly explain your way of thinking to your readers. They're also explicit. They do not expect the grounds to speak for themselves. Never end a body paragraph on a quote. Your words of explanation should always follow that quote. You always need to explain for your readers, here's why this quote supports my argument. I'll tell you this, a pretty good rule of thumb, if you feel like you're over-explaining, you're probably doing it right. I don't think in 11.5 years I've ever had to write on a student's paper, this is too much explanation. Usually what I write is, we need some more explanation here. Not clear how these grounds support the claims. So please make sure that you are thoroughly explaining, here is how this evidence supports my argument. Okay? So claims, your argument you're making, grounds, evidence for that argument, warrants, your explanation of how that evidence supports that argument. And another sort of rule of thumb, if you're worried about how much of your paragraph needs to be warrants, usually about 5 to 7 sentences. I think on your checklist you'll say, is there at least 3 sentences? 3 is sort of the bare minimum. Probably going to take more like 5 to 7 to really explain the link. Okay? You have a claims, grounds, and warrants handout online. Please make sure that you look over that. At the very bottom of it, it walks you through how to develop argumentative body paragraphs. Okay? So that will hopefully help sort of walk you through how this will look in your essay. And please let me know if you have any questions about claims, grounds, or warrants, or how they're working in your paper. I'm happy to talk about those because these are really important aspects of your essay. Okay? Thanks, guys.